So I think we were discussing about transformers. Means last class we have seen this thing that what are the different types of machines are there that we have seen last class. Okay, so today's class we will just go ahead with this. Why we are going for this? What are the advantages or what are the necessity? What are the requirements of this transformer that we are going? Okay, before the advent of or before the invention of this transformer, okay, so there was the power system was DC power system. It means this entire transmission and generation and distribution, everything was using with DC power supply only. There was no AC power system before this transformers. Okay, so in those cases, what are the advantage? What are the disadvantages? So, what are the disadvantages we'll see with this DC power system? So now the power system we are having is AC power system. It means generation is in AC, transmission is in AC, and distribution is also in AC. Now, before this transformers, there was DC power system. So in those cases, one of the problems is that in case of DC power systems, one of the problem is that you know yeah yeah the distance between the distance between load and source should be minimum. It means, for example, for example, the load is here at our place. The load is there, so the source should be as near as possible to the load. It means the generating station should be as near as possible to the load center. So in the town or in the city, we are using the electrical energy. So in that case, the source where exactly you generate this electrical energy should be very near to the load. Why it should be very near to the load is that otherwise the losses will be there, because see here, this is source. Say for example, okay, we were discussing about the DC power system, and this is the load. This is the load. So load is there. So this is the load. Whereas this is the source. Okay. So when you connect the source to the load, when you connect the source to the load, so some current flowing through these lines between the source and load. These lines we call it as transmission lines. These lines we call it as transmission lines. So the current will flow, whatever the current you require in the load, same current flows through the transmission line. So when same current is flowing through the transmission line, obviously this transmission line will have some resistance. This line will have some resistance because that line is generally made up of any conducting material. Any conducting material definitely will have some resistance other than zero, because practically there is no conductor which is having zero resistance. So this conductor has some, or this transmission line which is connected between source and load is having some resistance R. Then what is the power loss in the transmission line? P transmission line is obviously I square R. This is the power loss in every resistor. So I is the amount of current flowing through the load, and R is the resistance. In the R is the resistance of the R is the resistance of the transmission line. So transmission line current I is flowing. That transmission line is having a resistance of R. Then the power loss in the transmission line is I square into R. So this is the power loss you will find out in the transmission line. Now, one important aspect here is that what is this R value? That is the resistance of transmission line R. So everyone knows this thing that R has some one mathematical representation, rho L by A. rho L by A. So your R is dependent on L. What is L here? L is the length of the transmission line. If the length of the transmission line is more, if L is more, if L is more, then R is more, because your R is directly proportional to the length. So if the length of the transmission line that is connected between source and load is more, then its resistance is more. If its resistance is more, the power dissipation in the transmission line is also more. So if the power dissipation in the transmission line is more, then what is the efficiency of the power system? The efficiency of the power system is very less. Why the efficiency is very less here? One simple example I will take. Say for example, the load requires 100 watt. Say for example. Then how much the source has to generate? The source has to generate 100 watt plus the power loss in the transmission lines. Say the power loss in the transmission line is I square R. So this is the amount of power the source has to generate so that the load takes 100 watt. Remaining is I square R. So now you see yourself, if I square R is more, when the I square is R is more, when R is more, when the R is more, when L is more. So when the distance between source and load is more, then I square R is more. If I square R is more, then the power generated at the source is also more. It means for the load power, you are generating more amount of power at the source. So it means the efficiency is less. What is efficiency always? If losses are less, efficiency is more, we generally say. But if the losses are more, efficiency is less. So, or we can say in another words, efficiency is equal to output power by input power. So your output power is 100 watt, whereas the input power is 100 plus I square R. Now I square, if I square R is more, that is denominator will be more, then the total ratio will be less. It means efficiency is less. So this is one problem you will face in the DC power system when the distance between load and source is more. So that is the reason that in the DC power system, that is the reason that in the DC power system, the distance between load and source should be minimum. This is one of the limitations of DC power system. But you imagine yourself how it is possible to have a generating station very near to our town. It is not possible. It may be possible, but there is another problem is that it may create environmental problems. It may create pollution. Okay, so many other problems also there when you have the generating station just nearby our load, just nearby our town. If you have the generating station, then it creates lot of pollution problem. Okay, so so this is one of the disadvantages, because we don't have any other option in case of your DC power system. So this is everything is in case of DC power system. Okay, so now this is one problem. Now with this problem, I will, for example, say now we have a transformer. We have a transformer. So now after the invent of this transformer, we entered into AC power system. We entered into AC power system. So I will tell you the problem which I have discussed right now in case of DC power system. What is the problem? The problem is that the distance between source and load should be minimum, or it is very small distance should be there. Why it should be very small distance? Because you want to have higher efficiency. You want to have lesser power loss in the transmission line. So that is the reason you are going for this option. The option is the distance between load and source should be minimum. But coming to the case of AC power system, when you have a transformer, coming to the case of AC power system, when you have the transformer, okay, so before we go to this in detail, what this transformer does, what this transformer does. So the transformer mainly it does three things. One is it changes voltage level. It changes voltage level. Okay. Second thing is that uh, yeah, it can match impedance. I will tell you what is meant by matching impedance. And third thing is that it provides isolation. Okay. These are the three main advantages of transformer. Okay. Now we'll take the case of the first advantage. Okay. We'll take the case of first advantage, that is it changes voltage level. So it changes voltage level in the sense, um, changing voltage level in the sense either it increases the voltage or it decreases the voltage. Okay. So okay, so 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 first example I will take, it changes the voltage level. Changing the voltage level, it means yeah, it either increase voltage, either increase voltage or decrease voltage. That is called changing voltage level. So this is the symbol of transformer. Of course, you might have seen this symbol somewhere else also. This is the symbol of transformer. So one side you give some voltage, one side you give some voltage, here you apply some voltage. Now generally that side you give a name, generally that side you call it as primary side. So the side on which you are giving supply, that you can call it as primary side. The side on which you connect the load, the side you which connect on the, so that side you call it as secondary side. Okay. So whichever side you connect the supply, that side you call it as primary. Whichever side you connect the load, that side you call it as secondary. So at least it has two sides. A transformer has at least two sides. One side you call it as primary. The side on which you connect the supply, that is called primary. The side on which you connect the load, that is called secondary. Now what this transformer does is that, just now one of its work is it changes voltage level. So it changes voltage level in the sense, say for example, on the primary side, if it has 10 volts, say for example 10 volts AC, okay, it has 10 volts AC, then on the secondary side it may increase the voltage. So it may be more than 10, more than 10, or it may decrease the voltage, or it may be less than 10 volts. So the case in which it increases the voltage, that case you call the transformer as step up transformer. Whereas the case in which you decrease the voltage, that case you call it as step down transformer. So either it step up the voltage or it step down the voltage. Stepping up the voltage is nothing but the secondary voltage will be more than the primary voltage. Whereas stepping down the voltage is nothing but the secondary voltage is less than the primary voltage. So that is the first case, that is changing the voltage level. Okay, now with this advantage, we see how this problem in the DC power system, how we have this problem in the DC power system, that problem can be rectified in the AC power system using the transformer, and that too using the first advantage, that is changing voltage level. Now I will show you now. See, we will take the same we'll take the same here. So we have a source, we have a source, and we have a, okay, yeah, we have a source here. I said one important thing and I will repeat that what I said. What I said is that in case of DC power system, okay, so the distance between the source and load should be minimum, but that problem can be rectified in case of AC. Okay, so we can have the load here at very long distance also we can have the load, no problem. That problem can be easily solved. See how it can be solved. We have to see how it can be solved. So what I'm going to do is now this times the distance is more. What is the advantage if the distance is more between the source and load? The advantage is that the polluted gas which is coming from the power plants, that will not affect the load centers, that will not affect the towns which are near to that. If they are near to the towns, then definitely the towns or the cities and the population will get affected by this pollution. So this is one of the problems. So to avoid this problem, we generally locate the power plants very far from the load centers. So this is possible only in case of the AC power system only. It is not possible in case of the DC power system, because in case of the DC power system, if you locate the load and source at very long distances or at far distances, the efficiency becomes very low. That's the problem you will face. But that problem will not be there in case of the AC power system. How it is possible is that by using this first advantage of the transformer, that is, it changes the voltage level. But I will show you now here how it changes the, how it is advantage and what is happening here. I will just explain now. See this now. The source is here, the load is here. First, what I am going to do is that I will connect a transformer here at the source station, okay, which is a step up transformer. So now I will write here, it is a step up transformer. Step up is a step. So we will connect a step up transformer at the source station. Then that voltage. Now you know very well what is meant by step up. So when you step up, here more voltage, high voltage will be there. High voltage, because you are stepping up the voltage. So when you are stepping up the voltage, primary side voltage is less than the secondary, or secondary side is more than the primary side voltage. So here the secondary side, the voltage is very high because you are stepping up the voltage. Then that voltage you will transmit. Okay, that voltage. So these are the transmission lines. Transmission lines. Now once again at the load side, you step down the voltage. Why do you step down the voltage at the load side? Because you don't want that much high voltage. Because we want a very less voltage at the load side, 230 volts or 400 volts. This much of voltage we require. So that's the reason that we step down the voltage at the load side. I will write here step down. So now you see here at the source side we step up the voltage so that the voltage will be higher, whereas at the load side we step down the voltage so that the voltage will be lower and it will come to our load which is required, that is 230 volts or 400 volts. So now see here why it is advantageous, why this structure is advantageous. I will just explain now. Now why it is advantageous is that, see this now. Yeah, first thing is that, yeah, we'll take the same example that the load requires how much? 100 watt. The load requires 100 watt. And just for example, uh, we will take the voltage here is 100 volts. This is for calculation purpose. So the load voltage is 100 volts, and how much power it is? It is 100 watt. So 100 volt and 100 watt. So then what is the current here? Approximate current. What is I value here in the load? What is I value here in the load? What is I? So in case of AC, you have this equation P is equal to VI cos theta. P is equal to VI cos theta. This is in case of AC. Now, what is cos theta? Cos theta is the power factor of the load. Just for example, the power factor of the load is 1. This is for calculation purpose. Okay, it is not possible practically. So only for resistive loads, it is possible. That is cos theta is equal just for calculation purpose. In that case, P is equal to VI. It becomes. What is the power here? Power is 100 watt. Voltage is 100 volt. And current I, then what is I in this case? I is equal to 1 ampere. So the current flowing here is 1 ampere. Whereas how much power? It is 100 watt. So the power is 100 watt. Current is 1 ampere because the voltage is 100 volt. Now you see, now you see yourself now that what is the current flowing in the transmission line? I transmission line. What is the current flowing in the transmission? That is the thing. I transmission line is how much? How to calculate that is that now you see yourself. Here the voltage is 100 volt. Now it is a step down transformer. So if it is a step down transformer, then the primary here, the voltage here, okay, the primary here definitely more than 100 volt. It is more than 100 volt. Why it is more than 100 volt? Because it is a step down transformer. So the secondary side voltage is always less than the primary side voltage. So the primary side voltage is much more than the secondary voltage. So secondary voltage is 100 volt. So definitely the primary voltage will be much more than 100 volts. Just for calculation purpose, I will take this primary voltage as 1000 volts. I will take it as 1000 volts. So when it is 1000 volts, now you see yourself, the voltage is 1000. The voltage is 1000. But the power you have to supply to the load is 100 watt. Now, whether you have a transformer, whether you don't have a transformer, irrespective of that, the power you have to supply to the load is 100 watt only. So here the primary side, the voltage is 1000 volt, and the power you have to supply is 100 watt only, because the load requires 100 watt. You don't need to send more, just for example. Okay, so it is 100 watt. So in that case, if the voltage is 1000 volt, whereas the power is 100 watt, then what is the current? I is equal to, once again we will use this equation, P is equal to VI cos theta. So once again we will take the cos theta value just for calculation purpose is approximately, this cos theta is also approximately 1, just for calculation purpose. In that case, what is I value? I value will be, use this P is equal to VI cos theta. P is equal to 100 watt, V is equal to 1000 volt, cos theta is equal to 1. Then you will get I is equal to 0.1 ampere. You see now, it's very important. 0.1 ampere. So the current flowing here is 0.1 ampere only. You see now. Whereas the secondary side current is how much? Secondary side current is 1 ampere, whereas the primary side current is only 0.1 ampere. Why the primary side current is only 0.1 ampere? Because primary side voltage is 1000 volt. It is much more than 100 volts we have taken, and approximately I have taken it as 1000 volts. So the primary voltage is more than the secondary voltage. As the voltage is more, the current is less. How comes this equation? This P is equal to VI cos theta is there. Please see this once again. I will repeat here. So the power is constant. This P is constant. It is 100 watt. Whereas V is VI cos theta is there. So when P is constant, if I go on increase the value of voltage, for constant value of P, what is the value of I? I will definitely decrease. That is the, you see mathematically here. If you see mathematically, P is constant, V you go on increase, then I definitely has to decrease. Otherwise, this equation will not satisfy. So to satisfy this equation, if V increase, I decrease. So now that is the thing here. You have a step up transformer here. Then the secondary voltage, will be lesser than the primary voltage, then the primary current will be lesser than the secondary current. So secondary current is 1 ampere, whereas the primary current it is lesser than 1 ampere, that is 0.1 ampere. So now you see this same here. So when the transmission line is carrying only 0.1 ampere, when it is carrying 0.1 ampere, then what is the power loss in that? Power loss is equal to I square, that is the transmission line I square, into R. So now this I value, this time you decrease to 0.1 ampere as you have a transformer here. As you have a transformer, the current in the transmission line you can decrease. So when the current in the transmission line, if you can decrease, the power loss in the transmission line can also be decreased. So now you make this voltage as some 10,000 volts this time. This time you make it as 10,000. Just for example, 10,000. If you make it as 10,000, then the current in the transmission line becomes 0.01 ampere. So the current further decreases. So if the transmission line voltage, I will say this as transmission line voltage, VTL. So if the transmission line voltage is more and more, then the current in the the current in the transmission line is very less. So if the transmission line voltage is more, the current in the transmission line is very less. If the current in the transmission line is very less, then the power loss is also very less. If the power loss is very less, efficiency is higher. Efficiency is higher. You see now. This is the advantage of the transformer. So how it is possible? So how you are increasing the efficiency here? You are increasing the efficiency because you are decreasing the power loss in the transmission line. How you are decreasing the power loss in the transmission line? Because you are decreasing the current in the transmission line. How you are decreasing the current in the transmission line? With the help of transformer. That's it. So with the help of transformer, the power loss in the transmission line is decreased. So the efficiency of the total power system is increased in the AC power system. So the advantage of the AC power system with the help of transmission line is that you can have the source and load distance will be higher. So you can have more distance between source and load. Even though you have more distance between source and load, the efficiency will not decrease. Why the efficiency will not decrease is that you are having a transformer. So that transformer, you are taking the help of the transformer and you are improving the efficiency of the total AC power system. Okay. Okay. So now, so now, so you have taken the advantage of, first one, that is changes voltage level. So when the transformer, first advantage is that it changes the voltage level. So when you take the help of step up and step down transformer, in this particular example, you have enhanced the efficiency of the total power system. And one more advantage is that you can jump to AC power system, so that the problem with that the distance between the load and source center, which should be minimum in case of the DC power system. Okay, you don't need to do that. So that is another advantage. Okay, now we will go to the second advantage of the transformer, that is it can match impedance. I will tell you what is that mean. It can match impedance. So second advantage, I will write here. Match impedance. Now I will tell you what is meant by matching impedance and why it is advantage. Now, to understand this concept, okay. So we'll take one simple example of a transformer. Okay. So this is a transformer, and I'm writing this as a step-up transformer. Just for step-up transformer. Why I'm taking it as step-up transformer is that the primary side is the secondary side. Always remember primary side in the sense the side on which you connect the source, you call it as a primary side. The side on which you connect the load, it is called a secondary side. So it is a secondary, it is a primary. Okay, now you see here. So now I'm saying it is a step-up transformer. So if it is a step-up transformer, then V secondary is more than V primary, because this is a step up transformer. Now remember, the power is same whether it is primary side or secondary side. The power is same. Why the power is same? Because the load here, he wants 100 watts or he wants 10 watts, then the source has to give that much power. So the power is ideally they should be same. Okay, the power should be ideally same. Yeah, please mute yourself, that there is unnecessary disturbance is coming here. Okay. Okay, now you see here. So okay, now you see here. So coming to this example, that matching impedance. So I will take an example. This is a step up transformer. So the secondary side I have connected a load. Primary side there is a source. So as it is a step up transformer, secondary voltage is always more than the primary voltage, whereas the power is same. So if the power is same, see here, P is proportional to V into I. Everyone know this equation. P is proportional to V into I. If power is same, if V is more, I should be less. So I can say this thing, that I secondary will be always less than I primary. Why it is so? Because you see this equation, that P is proportional to V into I. P is constant. So when P is constant, then I can say this thing, that V into I is a constant. Then in that case, V is inversely proportional to I. Oh, this is the equation we got here. V is inversely proportional to I. So if secondary voltage is more, then its secondary current will be less. So this is the equation. So V secondary is more than V primary. V secondary is more than V primary, whereas I secondary is less than I primary. Okay. Then in that case, okay. So, so what about Z secondary and Z primary? See, what is Z is nothing but it is impedance. It is impedance. Z is impedance. So what will happen to Z secondary and what will happen to Z primary? Then we will take one simple example. We'll take, okay. So we'll take something like this. I have a step up transformer. I will take very simple example. I will take so that you will understand easily. And I have a resistor here, and that resistance value is 2 ohm. Just example. And it is a step up transformer. So it means secondary voltage is more than primary voltage. Assume that it is 1:2. 1:2 in the sense what? If I give 10 volts here, secondary side you will get 20 volts. If I give 20 volts here, secondary side you will get 40 volts. So you can call this a step up transformer, because primary voltage, because secondary voltage is more than the primary voltage, you can call this as a step up transformer. Okay, you can call like this. And now you see now. So say we will take this set, 10 volts and 20 volts. So I'm giving here 10 volts. Then obviously you will get here 20 volts. Then what is the current flowing here? The current flowing here is that 20 is the voltage, 2 ohm is the resistance. So the current is 10 ampere. So the current is 10 ampere. What is the power here? The power here is 10 square into 2. That is the power. So how much it is? 200 watt. So the power is 200 watt. So here also the power is 200 watt, because the primary power and secondary power are always same. You must remember this thing. Why it is same? Because the load requires only that much power only. So the primary power is 200 watt. Secondary power is 200 watt. So whereas the primary voltage is 10 volt, then what is the primary current in that case? The primary current in this case is power by voltage. So how much it is? 20 ampere. Now you see here. Just see this now here. Okay, what you must understand here is that Now you see here. Okay, when I take this transformer, that is 1:2, it's a step up transformer. So if I give 10 volts here, you will get 20 volts. So when you get 20 volts and assume that the resistance is 2 ohm, the current flowing here is 10 ampere. Whereas when I do the same calculation, because the power is same here, 200 watt, here also 200 watt. When I do the same calculation, then the current here, how much it becomes? 20 ampere. Now you see yourself. Secondary side, more voltage, less current. Primary side, less voltage, more current. Now we will have another calculation. What about the impedance here? The impedance here is 2 ohm in case of secondary. The impedance here is 2 ohm in case of secondary. Then what is the impedance in case of primary? How do you calculate that? Because primary voltage is 10 volts, primary current is 20 ampere. Then what is the primary impedance here? Primary impedance is that voltage by current. So 10 by 20. So how much it becomes? 10 by 20 is 0.5 ohm. Now you see, I will list out here everything. For this particular example, I will list out here. Okay, primary side, secondary side. I will list out everything. See this now. First, we will take voltage. What is the primary voltage? 10 volts. What is the secondary voltage? 20 volts. What is the primary current when we calculate here? 20 ampere. What is the secondary current? We got 10 ampere. Next, power. What is the power here? 20 into 10, 200. Here also 20 into 10, 200. So power is same. You must. It's important. Then what about the impedance? The primary impedance, how much you got when you do the calculation? 0.5 ohm. When you here, how much already you connected here? 2 ohm. See here, the secondary impedance here, which is 2 ohm, now it becomes 0.5 ohm when you see from the primary side. That's important. See here. So this is the point. This is the point where we have to concentrate. This point, the primary impedance, secondary impedance. So when I connect 2 ohm in the secondary side, it becomes 0.5 ohm on the primary side. That's important. So how this is important, I will tell you now. How this is important. So this is one point you must understand. What you must understand here, that the transformer can change the impedance also. That is the point. Okay. So it changes the voltage. See here, it changes the voltage, it changes the current, and also it changes the impedance. Whereas the power remains same. So these are the 4 parameters you must understand in case of the transformer, that it changes voltage, it changes current, and it changes impedance, but it does not change power. Okay. Now how this is advantageous is we will see now. Okay. So see here now how it is advantage, I will tell you now. Okay. Now see this now. Now we will recall another concept. Now you remember this thing, that a transformer can change the impedance. So this statement you keep in your mind. Now we will use this statement somewhere else here. Now you recall maximum power transfer theorem. Maximum power transfer theorem. What this theorem says, it says that you have a load here and you have a source here. This is a source. What this theorem says that, okay, so when the source impedance matches with the load impedance, when the source impedance matches with the load impedance, I will write here, source impedance matches with load impedance, then what is the advantage? Maximum power will transfer. Now this is the maximum power transfer theorem states. So it says that whenever you want to transfer maximum power from the source to the load, what you have to do? You have to match, or you have to equate the source impedance with the load impedance. Now you see here, assume that the load impedance is 2 ohm, and assume that here you have a source impedance. Assume that the source impedance is only 1 ohm. Just an example. So you have a source impedance as 1 ohm, whereas you have a load impedance as 2 ohm. Now you see 1 ohm can never be equal to 2 ohm here. So the source impedance is never equal to the load impedance if you connect these two. See, if you connect these two now, if you connect these two, then the source impedance is never equal to load impedance. So in that case, maximum power can never transfer between the source and load. This is what maximum power transfer theorem says. That it says that whenever you want to transfer maximum power from source to the load, you definitely have to transfer. You definitely have to match the source impedance with the load impedance. So you have to match that. That is maximum power transfer theorem says. But if you connect, say for example, just example that source impedance has 1 ohm, load impedance is 2 ohm, so you can never match here. Now what I'm going to do is that I will connect a transformer between these two. Now you see here, I will connect a transformer between these two. Okay, so let me connect a transformer here between these two. So when I connect a transformer between these two, just now we have seen this thing, that what we have seen, the transformer can change the impedance also between the primary and secondary. So like I have seen this previous example. So from the previous example, it can change the impedance also. So when it can change the impedance, then we will design the transformer in such a way, so that this impedance will be equal to the this impedance when you transfer to the primary side. So when both impedances are same, when you transfer to the primary side to secondary side or secondary side to primary side, then it becomes source impedance is equal to load impedance. So maximum power will be transferred. So this is second advantage. What is the second advantage? That it can match impedance. Which impedance it will match? It will match the impedance between source and load. So how do we say this? It matches the source and load, because just now we have seen one simple example that in this example, when the secondary resistance is 2 ohm, the primary it becomes how much it is 0.5 ohm. It means it has the capacity, it has the capability to change the resistance between primary side to secondary side. That is, when you have a value on the primary side, it can be looked as another value on the secondary side by using this transformer. So when you have this possibility, then any source impedance can be matched with the any load impedance. Any source impedance can be matched with the any source impedance, any load impedance when you have a transformer, when you have an appropriate transformer between these two. So every case we can transfer the maximum power when we have the transformer between the source and load. This is the second advantage. Now what is the third advantage? The third advantage is that it provides isolation. So the third advantage is that it provides isolation. So now what is okay? What do you mean by providing isolation? What is meant of providing isolation is that simple thing. Now just now we have seen that a transformer we represented like this. Okay. You see now between this primary winding and secondary winding, here there is no connection here. You see here, no electrical connection, no electrical connection. But which kind of connection is there between these two windings? It is a magnetic connection or magnetic. So here you have magnetic connection between primary winding and the secondary winding. There is no electrical connection. So when there is no electrical connection, no electrical connection in the sense what? It means electrical isolation. I see isolation meaning, I hope you know the meaning of isolation. Isolation means no connection. So electrical isolation. So it provides electrical isolation. I will write here. I will add here. It provides electrical isolation between two sides. How it is advantageous if you have electrical isolation? Okay, so between primary and secondary, so the energy is transferring. I will write that also here. The energy transfers through magnetic medium. I will write here magnetic medium. So the energy transfers through magnetic medium, not through the electrical medium. It's important. Okay. So between primary and secondary, you don't have any electrical connection. So how it is advantageous if you don't have any electrical connection? The advantage is simple. You see here that, okay, this side you have a load. This side you have a load. This side you have a source. This side you have a source. This side you have a source, whereas this side you have a load. Okay. Say for example, some fault, electrical fault. See, electrical fault in the sense some short circuit or any kind of electrical problem. Okay, the problem may be very dangerous. Say for example, there is a short circuit occurred, or there is a some kind of tree falls on a transmission line, or some kind of any electrical danger happens on one side. Then that danger will not affect the other side. Why it will not affect the other side? Because there is no electrical connection between both the sides. As there is no electrical connection between both the sides, the fault which may occur on one side will not affect the other side because no electrical connection. So this is another advantage. Okay, so generally this advantage, okay, so will be used in several applications. Now where do we use this second application? Matching the impedance. Where do you use this advantage? So generally we will use this advantage where matching the impedance in tuning, radio tuning, I will say here, or I will write frequency tuning. In frequency tuning, so also we can use this. Okay, second advantage. This is the third advantage. It provides electrical isolation. Okay, so these are the three advantages, okay, of the transformer. Okay, now what are the other things we must concentrate here is that, okay, so few things we got right now. So some more things we'll see here. So as you have seen, so the transformer can be operated at very high voltages. Very high voltages. You know how much voltage is? You can say 330 kilovolt. Imagine how much voltage. Sometimes you can have very low voltage transformers also there. Very low voltage transformers are also there. So very low voltage transformers in the sense around some even 10 volts, 20 volts. So this much small transformers are also available. So high voltage transformers are available, low voltage transformers are also available. Okay, and and so it can transfer more power. It can transfer more power, or it can transfer less power. So all the varieties means all the sizes of transformers are available. So all the sizes are available. And and another thing is that one more thing you must understand between these two is that just now we have seen that a symbol I have shown you, that primary, secondary, or primary, secondary. Okay, I will let P here, I will let S here. So different transformer, step up, step down. Okay, different types. So primary, secondary, and in between this, what I said now, there is no electrical connection. Okay, but there is a magnetic connection is there. So magnetic connection in the sense, I will say this thing that it has to allow magnetic flux lines between the primary and secondary. So it has to allow magnetic flux between primary and secondary. So whenever you want to have a magnetic flux, whenever you want to send magnetic flux between primary and secondary, generally you will choose a good conductor. You will choose a good conductor of magnetic flux. What are the materials which can allow, which can be treated as good conductors of magnetic flux? Okay, generally ferromagnetic materials. Generally, ferromagnetic materials can be considered as good conductors of magnetic flux. So what we do is that between primary and secondary, we put another one. You generally call it as magnetic core. So it means we generally call it as a magnetic core, something like this, and on that we put the windings. Now this one, this structure, this structure, this is the structure. Okay, we call this structure as magnetic core. So this magnetic core is a medium between, it is a medium, it is a medium, it is a medium between primary and secondary. What is the purpose of this medium? The purpose of this medium is that to allow magnetic flux, and it only allows magnetic flux, it does not allow electric current. So that's very important. It should not it should not allow electrical current. That's very important. It should not allow electrical current. It should allow only magnetic flux. So we will choose a material so that it allows magnetic flux but not the electrical current. Why it has to allow magnetic flux? Because that is the medium through which the energy transfers from one side to the other side. Okay, so generally we generally call that as, okay, so the magnetic core, I will write here the magnetic core. What is the magnetic core? The magnetic core is the medium between primary and secondary. So it should have high permeability. I hope you might have known what is generally it represents with the symbol mu. So that magnetic core should have high permeability. Okay, so generally the materials which is having high permeability are ferromagnetic materials. They are having very high permeability. Sometimes we will use air as magnetic core. Now in that case we call that as air core transformer. Now this air core transformer, but these kinds of transformers are are having limited applications. Generally may all the transformers, especially the power transformers, will have magnetic core made up of very high permeability materials. In very few applications we will use air core transformers. In that case the magnetic core, there is no magnetic core, only air is present between primary and secondary. Okay, so that is one more thing you must concentrate. And a few more things we will see here. What are the few more things we will see here is that, okay, that, see the transformer, we just recall what it is doing now. So just now we have seen that either step up or step down. So you see here, whether it is step up or step down, here it is voltage, here also voltage. So one thing I want to tell that, so here also it is electrical quantities. Secondary side also you have electrical quantities. See here, primary side is also electrical quantity, because here you have some voltage. Secondary side also will have some voltage. Of course, maybe the primary voltage is more than secondary voltage, or maybe the secondary voltage is less than the primary voltage. So either step up transformer or step down transformer. But in both the cases, primary is also having some voltage, secondary is also having some voltage. What is this voltage? Voltage is nothing but the electrical quantity. Voltage is nothing but the electrical. So primary side also only electrical quantities are there. Secondary side also only electrical quantities are there. But unlike, you recall what you have studied in the previous semester, that you have a DC motor. Say for example, you have a DC motor. Then in case of the DC motor, what is the input? Input is electrical quantity, some voltage you will give. Whereas what is the output? It is the mechanical quantity. It is a mechanical quantity. Whereas if you take the case of DC generator, if you take the case, then the input is mechanical quantity, okay, whereas the output is electrical quantity, okay. So input is mechanical, output is electrical in case of DC generator. In case of motor, input is electrical, output is mechanical. So coming to the case of the transformer, both input and output are electrical quantities only. So a transformer is not a converter. It's not converter. It does not convert one form of energy to another form. Whereas you see DC machines, they convert one form of the energy into another form, either electrical to mechanical or mechanical to electrical. Whereas the transformer, it's not a converter. Both the primary side and secondary side, it has only electrical quantities. So this is one more point you must take when you compare with the DC machine, okay. And some more thing, I just now said this thing, that this transformer, they mainly work on, not they mainly, they work only on AC, okay. So they work, okay, we'll see what are the reasons why it works only on AC. But as of now, what you have seen that it works on AC. So whenever it works on AC, it has some frequency. So what will happen to the frequency? Does the frequency changes? No, frequency does not change. Okay, now see here, these conclusions which I said right now, okay, the conclusions which I said right now. So you may get these step by step, one class after class other. So we'll know one by one. So I will add here frequency also. Frequency, no change. Now see, we got 5 things in the transformer: voltage, current, power, impedance, frequency. Out of 5, voltage changes, voltage may change, current may change, impedance may change, but the power and the frequency, they never change. The power, primary power, secondary power, both are same. Primary frequency, secondary frequency, both are same. There won't be any change. This is another thing you must have. So when we go some derivations, we will know one by one what are the statements we have taken. So you will understand yourself that these statements are correct. Okay, just remember right now that only voltage, current, and impedance changes. We have seen these 3 cases, whereas the power and frequency, they don't change. Okay, so the transformers which are available right now, you see substations. You will see in substations, you will see the transformers. Definitely you will see substations. Substations you will see, and electronic applications you will see. Electronic applications in the sense, you open any radio, okay, you open any radio or any electronic application, you see, okay, there you will find out the transformer. So transformers have it has a very large applications, okay. So you can find out in the substations or in the power systems, or you can find out in the electronic applications. Now what is the difference is that in case of the power system, AC power system, the frequency you will operate is 50 hertz in India or 60 hertz in some other countries. So that is in all substations. So whereas in the electronic applications, the frequency you generally operate at some kilohertz to megahertz. That's important. Kilohertz to megahertz, sometimes more than the megahertz also. So electronic applications, you generally operate at very high frequencies, whereas in the power systems, you generally operate at 50 hertz and 60 hertz. So in both the cases, you will find out the transformers. That's important. In both the cases, either in the substations also, You have seen in the substation in our college also, you will see the transformers. So those transformers, they generally operate at 50 hertz. So 50 hertz they operate. Whereas in the electronic applications, the transformers operate at very high frequencies. It means what I want to tell you here is that the transformers are available which can operate from very low frequencies to very high frequencies. So you can design the transformers which can operate at very high frequencies, or even at very low frequencies also we can operate. Okay. So